Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Good morning. So I wanted to do a quick video talking about ECW. ECW was a wrestling company created by, I think it was Todd Gordon originally, and then it went over to Paul Heyman, who you may know from WWE. It was based out of, I believe, Philadelphia. I had never been to a show, but my good buddy Nicky Massey, who I used to hang out with a lot when I was, I guess, a kid or a teenager, got me back into wrestling by putting on ECW, and I absolutely loved the tapes he would show me. He had all these, I guess, like bootleg wrestling tapes, where he would tape trade with people, and it was a perfect blend between actual, like, technical wrestling, sort of like WCW stuff you would see, mixed with the hardcore extreme aspect that most people weren't doing, and now I feel has gone too far when I watch wrestling shows and they're just beating the hell out of each other and throwing each other into light tubes and they're just cut all over and gushing blood. It doesn't do it for me. I like the mix between having spots that are crazy along with some technical wrestling. So, that being said, ECW was my absolute favorite. My favorite wrestler of all time is Raven, who is an ECW original. And some of the other wrestlers that are my favorite, just off topic, are Vampiro, the Great Muta, and Kenny Omega. Rhino was another favorite of mine. He was an ECW guy. So, anyway, ECW had a lot of great talent that over the years went to both WWE and WCW. So much so, and I'm going to tell a funny little story at the end. So much so that when WWE bought them, they purchased ECW and rebranded it and redid it. I didn't watch then, but they put out a ton of DVDs of either new ECW shows, documentaries, again, new ECW shows, or they did compilations of like the best ECW matches and released them, and supposedly these did very well. And then TNA got together with some of the ECW guys, and they did, reboots, and they didn't own the ECW name, but they did ECW type shows, and those were very popular as well. And then they even had other companies just do their own ECW type reunion shows where they had, the same guys and the announcers, and some of it's really fun stuff. Some of it's not as good, but for the most part, some of it's really fun and has some interesting stuff. And as I said, Raven was always my favorite. So, yeah, and WWE and well, these were actually the ECW releases. These were ECW DVDs. I used to have, I think, more of them. I don't know. I must have sold stuff over the years and whatever. But what I wanted to talk about was a little funny story, now that I've rambled for 3 minutes, about meeting Raven and Tommy Dreamer. And I may have told these stories before. So, Raven was at a local comic shop that no longer exists. And I bring along with me ECW Wrestling Volume 1. This is a WWE Blu-ray release because it's more recent. Sadly, Raven's not on this disc that I recall. So I made him sign something, and I don't even think he's on this. But anyway, he signs this for me, and he proceeds to tell me how I was wearing a Planet of the Apes shirt. He proceeds to tell me that he used to call Tommy Dreamer, I want to say Dr. Zayas. If you remember Planet of the Apes, Dr. Zayas was sort of bottom heavy. And he used to make fun of Tommy Dreamer and say that Tommy Dreamer was like a Neanderthal and that he was very hippie and bottom heavy. So if you've seen some of Tommy Dreamer's matches, you'll know what I'm talking about. And he was funny, and we talked for a few minutes. And I think when you meet someone famous that you really like, you tend to kind of overindulge or talk a little too much. And I did that. But I was very starstruck because he was just my favorite wrestler, and it was so cool to finally meet him up close and personal. And there was like maybe 10 people there, so it wasn't like this huge event where you wouldn't be able to go up and talk to them or get to know them a little bit. They were like right in front of you. Raven was right in front of you, so it was very cool. So I picked up, I got him to sign this and take a photo with me. So fast forward maybe, I don't know, 2 years, and there's an event out east in Long Island at Deer Park, NYWC, which is actually where like John Silver and Tony Nese, um, a lot of the guys come from who are in AEW now, cut their teeth in NYWC were trained there by Mikey Whipwreck and other people, and Tommy Dreamer is the special guest. And I bring this with me. Tommy Dreamer was so nice. I mean, the most pleasant wrestler I've ever met. He signed this for me, handed it back. I said, "What do I owe you?" And he goes, "Nothing. You brought it." He goes, "You didn't make me sign something I sold you." I said, "Yeah, but you signed it. You took, time out to talk with me, whatever." And he goes, "Nah, don't worry about it." So I got Raven and Tommy Dreamer on the cover of ECW Volume 1. And it was just such a cool story, both meeting Raven and Tommy Dreamer. I mean, their war that they had in ECW was phenomenal. And they still try to recapture that, years later. TNA and other companies have tried to, capitalize on that and make them continue fighting each other. Now they're older. I don't think Raven can wrestle as much anymore. Tommy Dreamer still does from time to time in Impact, TNA. But yeah, I ended up picking up, Volume 2 and Volume 3. And it's just amazing matches. I mean, if you are into any kind of hardcore wrestling, and a lot of guys that were in ECW may not have known, started there in America. Rey Mysterio, I think it was Psychosis. I want to say Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Bam Bam Bigelow, obviously Taz, Sabu, RVD, Jerry Lynn. But you'll see a lot of guys that you'll be like, oh, I didn't know, Cactus Jack. I didn't know so-and-so was in ECW. Stone Cold Steve Austin at one point was in ECW, but under his other name. So definitely check out ECW. But I really just wanted to tell my little Raven Tommy Dreamer story. This is 7 minutes of me kind of just rambling because I wanted to talk to you about Tommy Dreamer and Raven. And it just so happens Tommy Dreamer lives near my cousin. So he goes grocery shopping and they run into each other all the time now with his children. And my cousin will talk to him and take photos with him and stuff. And supposedly he's still extremely kind and takes time out to talk to the kids and take pictures and stuff. So that's my little ECW Raven Tommy Dreamer story. Check out ECW if you haven't, especially the original product that was put out by them, not so much the rehash stuff WWE did. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good. Oh, I meant to say, I always found it funny that Raven still sort of kept this feud going on with Tommy Dreamer. That even though I met him many years later, he called him a Neanderthal and made fun of him and said he reminded him of Dr. Zaius. And still, threw a couple digs at him. I think it's great that these guys will probably continue this feud until they die.